Hello everybody, Ben Woodruff here with another Falconry video. Today's video I'm going to be talking about sticky-footed birds. It's a behavioral problem that is incredibly common, and yet I don't see a lot of discussion about it normally. Seasoned falconers know ways to address it, but it's valuable information, and I thought it was worthy to share. So sticky-footed just basically is when you got a bird on a glove, right? And when it's going to take off from your glove, whether you're like, hey, go land on that tree, or there's prey, go pursue it, then you've let go of the jesses. They are gripping onto your hand and won't let go. But they're pulling and they're trying to fly after prey or to a perch, but they themselves are holding on and won't let go. At the best, then they might rake, and that's a slow takeoff, which then makes them drop so they can't get lift, and they have a delay with hunting prey. And at the worst, they're just hanging, and they're flapping almost upside down and won't let go. Obviously not acceptable behavior. It's not good for anybody. It's not good for the bird. It's not good for you. It ruins the hunt. So what do you do? What do you do to fix it? Why on earth does this behavior come about? It's important to understand that even though raptors are highly intelligent birds, they have a lot of wiring that is deeply rooted in their DNA, a lot of stimulus response. The quickest example I always love to share with people is gripping. When somebody comes up and makes a kissing sound. And if you haven't experienced this yet, then when you do, you'll be like, oh. So maybe you're holding your red-tailed hawk, and you're sitting there talking to some people, and somebody walks up, oh, what a cute bird, and they make kissy sounds at it, like, right? And like you might make to a dog, or like people do to parakeets, but they're doing to your bird, and all of a sudden your bird that's just happy, fluffy, content, just crunches your hand, the death grip of all death grips, and you're like, even through the glove, it's just this vice grip, and you're like, what the heck is going on? And what it is a stimulus response where their brain is wired that if they hear something along that sound, it equates to the sound made by a rodent or a rabbit that is being gripped. And if they're making that sound, that means you, the bird, have made a successful catch, and now you need to hold on for dear life. It can be other things too. I've had that happen with a little kid riding down the road with a tricycle, and it was making a squeak, and my eagle was like, and it's like, what are you doing? And so all of those things, they happen as a stimulus response. Your bird is aware it's on a glove. That doesn't look anything like a rabbit. But that stimulus response triggers, because in the wild, there is no reason to let go of prey. There is absolutely no reason to let go of prey. You hold on to it until it has disappeared from you eating it. The only exceptions are, okay, maybe I'm flying to my nest with it, and then I put it in the nest. Even if a larger bird or a predator is coming along to chase you and try to steal your meal, watch them. They try to fly away with their meal and only drop it if it's slowing them down so much that the other bird is catching up, and finally they'll drop it. That's a stimulus response. That's not a lot of deep thinking going on there. It is the same way with being sticky-footed. A bird will hold on for dear life as a stimulus response. There's no logical reason for it. So this comes about because of food association. Now, a principle I want to share, and some of you might shoot me down halfway through. Listen to what I'm going to say after, okay? There's a principle that typically the quickest way to build trust with a bird of prey is for them to eat off of your glove. Eating off of your fist builds trust fast. Food, remember, if you've watched my other videos on like tidbitting your bird and the role of food, a lot of my videos I bring up the point that food is not a reward for a bird of prey, and it's not simply food. It is social bonding. Because in the raptor world, everyone wants to kill you and take away your food except for your mate and your parents. And once your parents have raised you, they would steal your food too if they can encounter you in the wild. And so the act of giving food and the act of accepting food is an act of social bonding and an act of trust, and a very rare one in nature. You don't see animals all the time doing that. And so you are speaking their language. You all of a sudden are like, hey, new bird that I'm trying to train, here you're on the glove. Okay, yeah, here's some food. And they're like, why are you giving me food, mammal? They don't understand it but you are speaking their language. It would be as if it's amazing. When a parrot talks to a human and you don't know they talk and they're like, rah, 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 and they're like, hello, how are you doing? It's like, what? It's that shocking psychologically. The birds are like, wait, you're giving me food. This doesn't make sense. Okay, I'll eat it. And think about it from their perspective. If you're holding a bird on a glove, most mammalian predators kill with their face. There's a few, like members of the cat family, who use their claws, but most predators use their claws for running and not for actual slashing. So they're watching your face. So you're holding them here, meat's here, birds facing you, and you want them to bend down their head, exposing the back of their neck while you're feeding them. That takes amazing trust. And so that's why it very quickly, it's like, well, I can trust them with the most dangerous of circumstances. Well, then clearly I can trust this human. So it builds trust quickly. Normally we go from there to flying off the fist and flying to the fist and then to the lure. And when we do this outside, especially with your first bird, it is miraculous. It's the most beautiful, even though, how can you top a peregrine falcon thousands of feet in the air, stooping on a pheasant, knocking it out of the sky? And yet, just a simple act of a red tail or a Harris hawk, doom, 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 flying to your fist, totally free, no strings attached, literally flying to your fist. Every time it's like, the heavens open and a pillar of light comes down, and it feels magical. It feels unlikely and otherworldly, especially if you're new to the sport. And it's really special. Because of that, I think a lot of new falconers are chasing that experience. They're like, wow, that was so fun. I can do that again. Look, they're flying to my fist. They're coming back to me. It's very validating. It's very emotionally rewarding. You feel like you've done more of an accomplishment than you actually have. If a dog came to you for a snack, it's not as much trust because it's not social bonding like with raptors. But still, it's the same thing. A dog running over to you, thanks for the Scooby snack. I mean, it's basically the same thing. But your first year, you might do that too much. You might be flying your bird to the fist too much. And then your second year, suddenly your bird starts to get all aggressive over your glove. It'll mantle over it. It might even attack your face. And you're like, what's going on? And it's being sticky-footed. You try to fly it, and it's trying to fly off. What is going on? This is unacceptable. What it is the fact that you overfed on the fist. And you've gone from conscious thinking back into stimulus response. The glove is a glove. It's a perch. It's all it's supposed to be. And you've turned it from a perch to a feeding platform, and from a feeding platform, then a desirable item in the realm psychologically of prey to be defended, guarded over, and never let go of. So it's being treated like prey. Your glove has become prey. And that's not good. And remember, so even if they've eaten and the food's gone, if their stimulus response is still saying this glove is prey, if I fly off, I need to carry it with me, that is not good. So as far as the psychological principle, what you need to do is lower the value of the glove. You turn it back into a perch. Get rid of it as a prey item, get rid of it as a feeding platform, turn it back into a perch. Something that you just land on. And from the glove, you fly away from the glove to get food somewhere. So normally what I do is I train a bird to come to eat off of a fist, then to fly to the fist for food, and then I train them to fly to a lure for food, and I very quickly then stop ever having food on the glove. And then once they know to come to the lure with food on it, I take food off of the lure. So I just, hey, come over here to a lure with no food, and once you catch it, then I will dangle food over here, chuck it 5 feet away. You jump off the ungarnished lure, grab the food, I hide the lure, and then you're like, where'd it go? The food is all gone. The lure is gone. Okay, I don't need to be sticky-footed. And then you go over and you pick them up with the glove with no meat on. It's like, well, this isn't prey. This is a perch. It might as well be a tree branch. Let's keep going. Let's go hunt. Let's go get some more food. That's the principle behind what I do. You can never, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, you never fully train a bird. The training progresses, but the settings have to constantly be adjusted and readjusted. Your bird's too high, your bird's too low, your bird's too aggressive towards the lure, not interested enough in the lure. And the bird is always undergoing changes. itself. The temperature outside, is it freezing cold, is it above freezing, is it molting, is the bird hormonal because of the time of year that it's going through, is the prey experienced because it's the end of the hunting season, or is the beginning when they're just begging to be hunted. So you have to adjust accordingly. And aggression on the fist and sticky-footedness on the fist is a sure sign that you need to reduce or completely eliminate food on the fist if you can. And again, if your bird is getting really sketchy and spooky around you, maybe it's time to feed him on the fist again. So those are more of the psychology and the reasoning behind sticky-footedness. But you may have to have some practical application. You're in the field real time. How do you stop a bird being sticky-footed real time? It's a good bird. You've followed good principles of food management on the fist. So normally but for whatever reason that day it's being sticky-footed. What do you do? What you have to do is you have to reset the brain so you get them out of stimulus response and back into thinking, conscious thought. Be like, oh, okay, I'm not just reacting, I'm thinking. I'm aware this is a glove. So let's say your bird is gripping onto that glove and isn't taking off right. There are 3 ways I do it, and they're variations of the same thing. The first one I call the do-si-do, which is just basically you just have them get up on your other arm and then back on the glove, and your other arm and back on the other glove. You do that 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and usually they're like, what's going on? Oh, so they're looking down at this strangeness and like, oh, okay, oh, I'm not on food. Obviously, some birds are more grippy, and you wouldn't want to do that with. But a lot of birds you can do that with just fine. The next version of that is the perch version. So you're walking along in the field, they're being sticky-footed and they're not launching properly. Okay, well then maybe find a tree branch, find a fence post, find some railing. Set them down on it, pick them back up. Set them down on it, pick them back up. Do that 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Now, if they're still being bad, then put them on the perch and leave them there for 30, 40 seconds and pick them back up. Do that several times, and usually that will reset the brain. And the last, if you're in a pinch, there's no trees around, and it's not a bird that you can do the do-si-do thing, just use the ground. Just squat down, put them down on the ground. They're like, why am I on the ground? This is not normal. Pick them back up. Back down on the ground, pick them back up. With some of the birds, with golden eagles, accipiters, goss, Cooper's hawks, sharp-shinned hawks, Harris hawks, red-tailed hawks, ferruginous hawks, all of those in particular, I definitely prefer to also let them run around a bit on the ground. Let them take 30 seconds to walk around. So they are moving, they're not riding on a fist. They are having locomotion under their own control, and therefore they have to process visual as they're stepping. Their brain has to take in and process visual information coming at them of the ground. It's just walking, but still, what it does is it takes them away from stimulus response and back more into positive reactions and conscious awareness of thoughts of what's going on. And those are really the best ways to handle it. There's other ways, there's deeper psychology we could go into, but I just wanted to give the basics in this video in a way that I thought could be helpful. So I hope you find this video useful. If you have more questions about it, let me know. And again, I always appreciate you in the comments letting me know what other videos you'd like to see. And if you haven't already, please hit subscribe. It really does help me build up this channel. And as always, happy hawking.